Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's Matthews in the Morning coming to you live from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida and right in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out, International Diamond Center. We'll have JC here momentarily. We'll also have Steve Russell, the Dean of Sports Talk in the Gainesville area. He goes back live on Sports Scene today on WRUF from his noon to 2. We'll get Steve's thoughts on coming back to work to do his show, and also his thoughts on a little bit of Gator football. They scrimmaged this Saturday. I was not there. I've heard some reports here and there. Let's go to the Titan MR Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We're joined by Horn Dog. Good morning, JC. How are you?
I'm good. Here's my report from scrimmage. As long as nobody got injured, we can move on. So,
are you concerned the quarterback did not participate again, JC?
Well, whether I am or not, it's like you always say, there's nothing we can do about it. But I trust that the coaches, I trust that the coaches have this under control, and at some point we'll let the Gator fans who are going to attend the game and who actually care about it, they will let them know. He will let them know what the status is on this player. So, in a way, you say to yourself, my goodness, we're, literally going into college football this weekend. There will be games this weekend. There's a Big 12 game, big matchup between Iowa State and Kansas State. There's a lot of pretty decent games in what they like to call week 0. But, a week from Saturday, Florida's going to kick it off. And you would really hope that, maybe your starting quarterback would be practicing in a scrimmage.
JC, isn't Iowa State, Kansas State, aren't they playing overseas?
I didn't check the location, but that does sound right, because it does seem like I heard something about a game overseas. Yeah, it's in Dublin, Ireland. That is true.
Okay, that did, to me, again, that makes absolutely no sense.
No, it does make.
It's not Notre Dame. No. It's not Boston College.
That's right.
I mean, why in the hell is Kansas State and Iowa State playing in Dublin, Ireland? Aren't they? They're pretty close to one another, if I'm not mistaken.
They're quite close to one another, and I think it would be a lot more fun for the fans of those two schools to be playing here. But for some reason, these administrators and these people get together and they come up with these ideas. And I don't care if it's money or whatever. There's so much money. Listen, the reality is that these guys do these things for attention. They want to get their brand out there, but the fan base doesn't. I mean, if I were a fan of one of those two schools, I wouldn't be very excited about it. What would I be going to Dublin, Ireland for in August? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a thing to do. Maybe you could schedule a big golf trip there and spend $20,000 instead of just 10. So I don't know. Think about it.
Yeah. Real quick, Verone 71 says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. QB, I was watching your 1990 game versus Georgia yesterday. Do you think the formations y'all use would work with this Gators team? Look, everybody has the same formations. We did more personnel groupings than what Billy has done up to this point. But again, nobody has any special pass plays or no special formations. It's just when you call it, who you use, who's out there, things of that nature. Clint says, Shane, Ben Griffin looked like me on hole number 1. Yeah, he 4-putted from 4 feet. Let's talk golf real quick, Jason, and we'll move on with more college football. Look,
sure.
We got a text here on the Titan MR text line about golf, by the way. This is from Leroy in Palm Coast. He says, good morning. Not saying he would beat Prime Tiger, but Scotty Scheffler's dominating golf like Prime Tiger did, and against better competition, in my opinion. The chip-in yesterday on 17 was insane. Look, I've been saying it for 2 years now, or a year and a half. I think I think the difference between him and Tiger is he controls his golf ball better than Tiger Woods does. You know, Tiger used to hit it really crazy at times, JC, and then he'd hit some big slice around 4 trees from 225 yards on the green. Scotty's never in trouble. He got in trouble yesterday. He 3-putted from about 5 feet that got the tournament close. He goes to the next tee. He hits it in the bunker.
And birdies.
Bobby Mack hits it about 6 feet from the middle of the fairway. Scotty hits his crazy cut shot using the slope of the green, and it just hits, and it just trickles down to about 4 feet, makes birdie. I've never seen anybody, I talk about it all the time, he can control his golf ball better than anybody I've ever seen.
He is the best player around the greens that I've seen in years, and he's the best on tour with the short game. There's no doubt about his control of the ball, as you say. He's constantly in the fairway. It's rare that you see him not in the fairway. And he just has such control over his game, and that control affects the other golfers. McIntyre comes out 3 over on the front 9. I'm sorry, I know it was hot out there, but I do think it matters when you've got a guy like Scheffler just breathing down your neck. That pressure does add to some of the things that maybe affect your shot. It just does. I mean, you can't ignore Scotty Scheffler when you played with him 2 straight days, and he clearly did not play as well as he did the first 2 rounds. This is McIntyre. 6 birdies, shot 67. Like you said, 3-putted a green or 2. 5th PGA Tour win this year, 18th overall. And it's like, I remember saying on Thursday, I said, is there any doubt that we think Scotty Scheffler is going to win this tournament when we did our picks contest, QB? You remember me saying that? And he wasn't even, I think it was like 5-6 strokes behind. But there was just no question about it to me, because the pressure he assesses to the players he plays with at the end of the tournament, if he's in contention, is the thing. I think it matters, and he is the most clutch player we've got going right now on tour. And like I said, he's the best player around the greens there is in the game, in the world, really. And so I mean, remember the chip in at the Masters on number 3. That preceded a win there. And then he does this thing on the hardest hole that was scoring-wise. It was the hardest hole on the golf course yesterday, and he did it at exactly the right time. And I just knew as soon as they hit that downhill slope going toward the hole, I said, oh, my God, it's going in 10 feet out. And there was no doubt about it. It didn't even just go in. It just dropped in. It was just an amazing shot, and this is what he does, and this is why he's the best player in the world.
Yeah, he's incredible, no question about that. For sure. Here's a text from Kevin in the Gainesville area. I'm going to tighten more text on. Have you guys seen Georgia Tech's schedule? They bring back Haynes King too. Does JC think that would be a good bet to make playoffs?
JC does think you could get a great number.
Not.
Well, I'll tell you this. You're not betting teams here. You're betting numbers. In that, Georgia Tech has a pretty strong-looking team. I think this coach is really a pretty good one for a school like this. And we're talking about the ACC, folks. I mean, it's Clemson and everybody else. So why can't Georgia Tech make a run in that league? And with that quarterback, if he stays healthy, because he's been prone to injury as well, Georgia Tech is going to be a team you hear from. And with those odds you're getting, I mean, why wouldn't you? So I think it's just to make the playoff. I'm not saying to win anything or win the ACC even. They may get 2-3 teams in. You don't know. But I think that Georgia Tech is a team to keep your eye on in that league without a doubt. And I think that's a great number. And you have to get it early, because if they do shoot out of the gate at 5-0, those numbers will crash.
Yeah. Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, Michigan and Western Michigan play in Germany next year. And he wants to know what's the longest chip in I've ever had. I mean, I've holed out from the fairway multiple times. But for just a chip in, I mean, I think what was great about Scotty's chip in was the difficulty of it. You know, that's the thing. I mean, most golfers have chipped in quite a bit. Joe says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, Scotty only needs to be number 1 for 532 more consecutive weeks to beat Tiger's record. None of that matters to me. I'm telling you right now. Speaking of that, let's get to this day in sports, brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union. We're proud member Steve Spurrier Bank's 2002 PGA Championship at Hazeltine. Here's one of my prime examples. Rich Beam wins his first major title by beating Tiger Woods by 1 stroke. Do you think Rich Beam is anywhere near the top 50 to 60 players on the PGA Tour in today's world, JC?
No, but anybody can have a great 4 days, QB. You know.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, I don't care how many weeks Tiger was at number 1 in the world. He did not beat the caliber of players that Scotty Scheffler beats.
Well,
it's a hard comparison, but my eyes, I watched a lot of golf. My eyes tell me that the players in today's world are better than back then.
Well, but just remember, whether or not he's playing against players, he's also playing against himself in the course. And what he did in 2020 is not going to be matched by anybody anytime soon. I don't think. But back to George, my guy who came in with Georgia Tech, I was surprised. They're only getting 5-1, QB. That tells you right there on Hard Rock that they are a
5-1 to make the playoffs?
That's it. So that tells you right there they are very legit. And they will have a good team if that quarterback stays healthy. Look, they beat Georgia last year. I'm sorry. I don't care what
JC, I'll give you a little tidbit.
Go ahead.
I'll give you a tidbit.
Go ahead.
Because I have some Georgia Tech people that I have to deal with work.
Okay.
They love Haynes King, but the backup who played last year quite a bit when Haynes King, he's still there, and they like him a lot.
Yeah. I mean, this is depth, right?
Don't worry about the quarterback. Don't worry about the quarterback at Georgia Tech.
Well, that's good then. That speaks to their depth. It speaks to their coaching staff. I love Georgia Tech in the ACC. How about South Carolina? What do you think their odds are to make the college football playoff, QB? South Carolina.
I have no idea, but I'm going to go 25-1.
How about 5-1 to make the playoff on Hard Rock? 5-1. I don't understand these odds. Okay. These are too low. What do you think Florida is? How about the Fighting Gators? The Florida Fighting Gators.
Okay, well, I'm going to say they're 10-1 then.
Plus 350. These odds don't seem to make sense to me. I mean, how can you be plus 350 to make the college football playoff, but to win the SEC, you're plus 1750? So something doesn't seem right to me. I know I'm looking at it right, but for the Gators to win the SEC, you're getting 17.5-1. For the Gators to make the college football playoff, you're getting 3.5-1. So they're saying it's going to be easier to make the playoff somehow than to win the conference. And listen, I get it. You don't have to win the conference to make the playoff. That's obvious, right? We know this. But that surprises me. I did not expect to see these numbers like this. This is much lower than I thought. Shorter numbers.
Maybe what'd you say that was? FanDuel? What is it?
Hard Rock.
Maybe Hard Rock has some typos in there.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's 12 teams that get in, and only one team can win a conference. Okay, that makes sense. But I mean, in my mind, when I'm thinking about it, do I want to play a conference game and risk injury when I know I'm already in the playoff? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, but you still want to win the conference if you can. All right, here, Rick from Jupiter on the Titan MR text line. So, QB, what's your take on the NFL seeming to push its woke agenda with the male cheerleaders and social justice slogans painted on the field? I have not seen the slogans painted on the field, but I know they used to do that. I didn't think they were doing any more, but I saw some on Twitter. I saw the male cheerleaders. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they thinking?
They have to put one of 5 slogans on the field according to X. Well, I'm reading this, and it's
what are the slogans, JC? Do you know?
Well, I was reading them this morning. One of them is end racism. One of them is choose love. One of them is, I'll scroll and find it if you guys really want to know.
I feel like they've been doing those for years. Like each month they'd have something else painted in the end zone or behind the goalpost. But I don't know. But the male cheerleaders thing drives me. Oh, I can't watch it. I can't watch it.
Well, listen, dude. I mean, I think last year we had a male cheerleader with the there was a team that had a male cheerleader, and now this year the Vikings have one. I think another team's coming out.
The Patriots do too.
Yes, the Patriots, the Vikings. You can, and then it was the Rams. I think the LA Rams. I mean,
your team.
Whose hat I'm wearing right now? By the way, how about my man Stetson Bennett? I'm a big fan. I know
you don't have to talk. I've always loved Stetson Bennett from day one. The first time he came off the bench at Missouri
Yeah.
to rally the
Yeah.
Dogs, I was like, why has this guy not been playing? He is a player. All right, JC,
He can ball.
I got a question here.
Okay. I got
a question here for you.
Okay. You're all
Go
over
ahead.
the
You
place.
got
Go
what?
ahead. Well, I've got the 5 options if you want to hear them from the end zone. Do you want to hear them?
All right, give me those. Yeah.
Choose love. Inspire change. It takes all of us. Stop hate. And end racism. So those are your 5. You get to pick one of those in the NFL. Go ahead. Now, what were you going to say?
I feel like they've been putting those in the end zone for a long time. All right. So, JC, who would you say is Tennessee's rivals?
The Vols.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's two. There's two that stick out amongst all of them. One of them is here in Gainesville. The other one's in Tuscaloosa.
Would you say Georgia's one of their rivals?
They are a rival, but not as big as Florida or Alabama.
Okay. So listen to this. Since 2010, Florida, Alabama, and Georgia are a combined 38-8 against Tennessee.
Yes. Yes.
So I saw this on Twitter. This dude said, on behalf of all 3 fan bases, you are not a rival to us. Go be the rival of Vanderbilt and Kentucky.
I love that. That is great. Send me that dude. I want to follow him.
But think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, since 2010, we're talking 15 years.
That's all.
The Vols are 38-8 against those 3 schools.
The Vols are 8 and 38.
I mean, those 3 schools are, they've only won 8 games against those 3 schools.
You're
I
right.
think 2 of them were last year.
Yeah.
Didn't Alabama lose last year?
They did.
2 years ago.
No, I think
the Gators lost last year.
No, Alabama lost to Tennessee last year, and so yes, they did. And just tells you what the good job that Danny White and Josh Heupel have done there, because they had just one failure after another in terms of the head coaching hire at Tennessee. You know that Butch Jones, Derek Dooley back then. I mean, they have been abysmal, and I think Josh Heupel has done a really good job. I mean, a really good job getting that program back on its feet, because they are legit. They're Tennessee now. Maybe not the '98 Tennessee Vols, but maybe they're even better than them at some point going forward. So we'll see. But you're right. That rivalry was laughable. Speaking of the quarterbacks, you mentioned the quarterback play in the NFL with Stetson Bennett that we mentioned. How about 2 coaches yesterday I think are really going to make a difference in their quarterbacks? And I get it. It's preseason and we're playing backups and nobody's really starting out there. The Bills didn't play anybody that they will play on day one. But it was good to see the Bears looking like a real offense with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams getting together. 6 of 10, 107 yards, 130 passer rating, and 1 touchdown for Caleb Williams. Clearly looked more comfortable again against backups. And then Trevor Lawrence, 8 of 10, 76 yards, 1 touchdown, 131.7 passer rating, as the Jaguars looked pretty clean against the Saints there in the early part of the game. Granted, it's the Saints and the backups are playing, but still, I think it's positive to see coaches and their quarterbacks. I think it's very important for these 2 teams, especially with their new coaches, to get these quarterbacks off the mat and to be effective. And they looked like it yesterday, albeit in a preseason game against backups. Yes.
Electronics World Integration Design Specialist for Smart Home Automation and Entertainment. It's summer, folks. Let Electronics World bring the Florida Gators, college football, and NFL to your living room. Check them out, electronicsworld.net. I didn't see any college preseason. I did see the first drive of the Bears, and Caleb Williams took his steps, knew where to go with the football, and I think Ben Johnson's great. So I think they'll be a pretty good team.
Great division. It's a hell of a division this year, I think. I think all 4 of those teams are going to be 2 of those 4 making the playoffs for sure. I believe that.
Andy wants to know on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. JC, what's your take on Michigan's sign stealing penalty, and why was the Gators penalty on more players more severe in 1990?
Because it was a different time. It was a much different time in the 90s. They had it out for Florida, the SEC, the NCAA, all of them. And it was just, hey, coach, we're sticking it to you guys, even though it didn't seem nearly as deserving as what these guys at Michigan have done. Harbaugh's guilty as hell. Everybody knows that Michigan cheated. Okay, everybody knows it. It's not like they were SMUing all the players in a blatant disregard for rules. But this guy tried to game the game, and we all know Connor Stallion spied. Listen. Michigan's national title to me is not tarnished because of that, because to me, they were the best team on the field. I watched them play in person. I think they were the best team in the country. But it is a sad day when you have to resort to those kinds of things. And Michigan's guilty as hell. They know it. We know it. They know we know it. And we know they know we know it. So that's just the fact. But 1990 and today, much different times and much more harsh and punitive back in those days than today.
Yeah. Mark says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing Trash. Look, tentative Saturday could be a battle for number 2. I didn't see any of it. Look, I think Kyle will be a backup in the league a long time. It may not be in Tampa. There's a reason they signed Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know why, but maybe Todd Bowles has a relationship with him or the offense coordinator or something. But I think Kyle will be fine, whether it's in Tampa or somewhere else. Got to read this one if I can pull it back up. I like to read some of these. JC, you know, I like Nature Gator. You want to hear this one, JC?
Sure, yeah, Nature Gator.
This is YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Someone tell these two that they are turning off people by promoting their political views on here, and tell the guy on the right that not all Gator fans care and can't afford $200 tickets. Well, let me go first,
What?
JC. Nobody on this program said one thing about political views, Nature Gator. If you have a problem with male cheerleaders or you don't have a problem, that's your prerogative. I have a problem with it. Not the male cheerleaders that the colleges have. The Saints actually have a co-ed version of cheerleaders, you know, where they do stunts and stuff like that, like the college teams. But I just think it's very strange that the National Football League has those cheerleaders that the Vikings and the Patriots put out there.
The guy on the right, what's the story about? Wait, he goes, and tell the guy on the right that not all Gator fans that can't afford $200 tickets. What the living hell is he talking about? What is that about?
I have no idea. I wouldn't worry about it. I just wanted to
Well,
read it.
I want to know where he gets this $200 ticket thing from. I mean, what is he talking about? These people are what the hell? They wake up weird in the morning sometimes. Is, as Zach says, is anti-male cheerleading a political view? Question mark. That's called being normal. This is great. I love this. I mean, the fact that we talk about it to me is just such a. Here's Zach. A lot of other podcasts for people like Nature Gator. A lot of other podcasts are for people like Nature Gator. Free speech works. Move along if you don't like Shane and JC. Here,
yeah.
I'm moving along.
Nature Gator does not have any clue what it's like to be booed and hated by 85,000 people.
You were never
booed. Ruffle my feathers.
When were you booed? They loved you in the swamp, dude. You never lost.
JC.
Yeah.
I was booed in Soldier Field multiple times. I was booed in whatever the damn Redskins Stadium was called it sometimes. So.
Oh wait. The Redskins. That's right. You did play for the Redskins. That's right.
Oh, I said the Redskins. Maybe that's offending.
Oh, God.
People.
Nature Gator's on your ass now. You better be careful.
Little does he know that I am Native American and I love the name Redskins, and they need to be called the Redskins. So take that.
Take that, you. Take that, you.
Sam on the item our text line says, what do you guys think about Hard Rock's odds of -115 for Florida over 7.5 regular season wins? JC said take it over.
Hell yeah, I am, and I'm premising everything on them being fortunate and not losing lots of players in a very difficult schedule. But I listen, man. I think the Gators are going to have the best roster that Billy Napier's had since he's gotten here. What, 4 years ago now, is it? And I think that this team has depth. That's going to help when certain guys bow out or have to be pulled off the field for whatever reason. I just like – look, I know the schedule's brutal. It is absolutely difficult. But last year, everybody took the under on the Gators, and they end up going over. So if you included the well, no, they went over because it was 6.5 last year. So they absolutely went over. And I think you're going to see that again this year.
Okay, so Nature Gator response is, I don't care what your thoughts on cheerleaders are. I care about Gators football. Tell them to check the Gators ticket site. You can't buy one for less than $200. That's
Really?
any college. That's any college.
Well, wait a minute. He says you can't.
Going
No, there are tickets that are face values under $200.
I agree. There's yeah.
What's he talking
What
about?
I'm saying is our ticket prices are no different than any other collegiate team out there.
Then he said, "Take that, Shane."
Hey, I'll take whatever he wants to give. I can handle it.
Well,
Nothing
I don't
bothers
know.
me. People don't realize that.
I'm with you there. What is?
But the point is it's not a damn Gator thing. It's every university.
Well, what's the Gator ticket site? What is the Gators ticket site? I wonder what he's talking about. There are no tickets.
No, if you go buy season tickets, it's expensive. But it's no more expensive than Florida State or Tennessee or Georgia or Alabama. They're all the same. Right around the same.
Here's the thing for you, Nature Gators. Some teams are going to have rather poor outings after week one, and you'll see ticket prices go down. How's that? So maybe you just have to wait until the after. I'll tell you another game. Keep your eye on this weekend is South Florida, because South Florida will be here in week 2, right? So South Florida has got a game.
Yep, they play Boise.
That's exactly right. So you want to check out and see what South Florida's got to offer. That would be something to pay attention to this weekend. And I'm not saying you have to bet on it or anything. Just watch it and see if you think South Florida is going to provide any kind of resistance in week 2. It's good that Florida be tested early because they're going to have 2 road games coming up after that South Florida game. And I want them to be sharp. I don't want them to just kind of stroll through 2 scrimmage games. Maybe that's good. Maybe it's not. But I think it's important that they get sharp before they head to Baton Rouge. 7:30, of course.
I'm telling you right now. I've talked to some people. South Florida's got like a ton of starters coming back.
Yeah,
that ain't going to be as easy a game as people think.
1,000% agree with that. I agree with that 1,000% because they're going to have athletes running around. Maybe not the kind that you read about in On3 and recruiting, but they're going to have guys. They're going to have some dudes out there running around. I totally agree with you. I don't think that coach is that bad either. I kind of like him, that Golish. So I'm with you. I think that second game.
Boise's not this week. See, isn't it next week? Isn't it the night? The week we play Long Island.
Okay. Maybe I missed. No, maybe I misspoke. It could be. I thought I saw it on the schedule here in week 0. I might be wrong. I'll look it up, but anybody can look it up. I'm just saying that'll be a game. Now. Well, that's going to be a game to keep your eye on. I just think it's going to be an interesting matchup, and it'll give us something to look at, when they play. And I think I want to say you're right. Gosh, there's so many games that just maybe I missed.
Acting correctly, so I can't look it up right now.
Okay.
All right, JC.
Yeah.
Good conversation.
Well, Steve will know. I mean, he knows stuff like this. I don't know why I can't just look at this and just tell you. I'm trying to rush through it, but
if my phone was working correctly, I know they play on a Thursday night. I don't know if it's Thursday or the Thursday before we play Long Island.
28th. It's the Thursday, the 28th. So
that's
I was
before
wrong.
We play Long Island. So
yes,
next Thursday.
Right. Okay.
All right, JC.
Glad we got that in.
Go have fun today working out. That's JC. Join us on the Titan & More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick time out. We'll come back. We'll be joined by the Dean of Sports Talk, Steve Russell. He's coming back. He's like Michael Jordan. He's coming back out of retirement to do his show starting today. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management, Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football.
Let's go.
We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand. We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers and go Gators.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean head beer coach, 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Injuries occur whenever and however, and it's never convenient. For sprains, strains, and minor fractures, UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you 7 days a week, including evenings. Walk-ins are welcome. Go check them out. UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Back to the Titan Memorial Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by the Dean of Sports Talk, Steve Russell, who's coming out of retirement starting today. What's up, Steve? How you doing, my man?
Shaner, okay. You know, it's weird when you say that, you know, coming out of retirement, but but it is. I mean, you know, when I left and, you know, stopped teaching, which I will miss too. But, you know, we're going to try this again. I did the podcast, really liked it. I don't know if you had the same thing. The first podcast I did, I was like, there's nobody calling. What's wrong here? It took a little while to adjust to that. But you know, now this time of the year, you know, you're going to be on as well. Tomorrow we'll do our Inside the Huddle, our first one of that. That's going to be at noon tomorrow with Shaner and the ball coach. So pretty excited about it.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, Steve will start back doing Sports Scene from noon to 2 today on RUF. It'd be like your normal show, correct, Steve?
Yes.
People can call the normal number and communicate with you.
Yep. Just like it was. Nothing much changes, except we'll have a little more of a social media presence. You know, people can contact us that way because, you know, as people listen to your podcast, Shane, they listen whenever, wherever. So, you know, we're going to have that aspect of it too. Laura Rutledge is going to be my first guest today. So looking forward to having her. And we're going to really try to, I mean, I always did this, but you know, there's so many of our Gator grads in the college now, Shaner, who are working, you know, in various markets. the NFL. We got him in Atlanta, we got him in Buffalo, so we're going to try to get them on and talk about the Bills, and got somebody in Kansas City, talk about the Chiefs and Caglione there. So we're going to try to spotlight. We always did, but we're going to really try to continue that too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no doubt about it. That journalism school produces a lot of great talent, no question about it. Steve, we're very close to Gator football kicking off. I know you did a sit down with Coach Napier for TV 20, the local news station. For the people that didn't get to see that, what can you tell them that you learned from Billy Napier? Is he more confident, in your opinion, going into year 4?
Yeah, that's going to air, Shane, on the 23rd, and looking forward to that. In sitting down with him, the first thing that struck me, he seemed much more relaxed, much more confident, if that's the word. I think he's got a roster now that I think he likes a lot. I think he truly, in most places, feels like, somebody goes down, there's another person that can come in there and do a credible job. Certainly, the Lagway thing, kind of laughed about that. He kind of said, sometimes the media gets a lot of information out there, and he kind of smiled when he said that. But he just seems more confident, more in his skin, and I think he thinks he's going to have a good football team.
Yeah, obviously they had their last scrimmage this weekend. I was out of town, so I wasn't able to go. There were reports that DJ did not participate again. Steve, we know he's a talented player, but it's not like he's a two-year veteran that's played a lot of football that can take time off. I still have concern because he didn't participate in live action. When I say live action, I'm talking like team where people are in your face. You're having to find throwing lanes. He didn't do any of that in the spring. He hasn't done any of that so far this fall from what I've been told. Do you have some concerns there?
Yes, I do. And look, Shane, you played the position and played it really well and played in the NFL a long time. If you have concerns, then, that's all I need to know. But look, we all know how talented he is. There's no question of that. But again, I've said this many times, if you took his name and the hype away, and I said the returning quarterback last year had 12 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, you'd say, well, those are numbers that can certainly be improved on. And they can. Well, that's what his numbers were. And he needs work in terms of the short passing game and, the accuracy there. So, yeah, I'm concerned. And I think I asked him specifically in that interview about what he thought about the competition to back up Lagway, because we all know what happened when he went down, and he seemed to be very pleased with, the guys in there if something were to happen to Lagway. I think that's huge, Shane, because if he can't go for some reason, there's got to be somebody in there that can take advantage of the offensive weapons Florida's got.
Yeah, the weapons are the key. I think the surrounding cast is so much better this year from a skill standpoint. We had 2 guys go to the NFL in DK and Elijah Badger. They were really good players. I love the receiving core. There's still young guys that are very talented that we haven't seen play, but you can lean heavy on the O-line and the running game. And I think that's the key. Sitting here today on the 18th of August, do you think DJ will play against Long Island?
Yes, but limited. I guess the thought process is, do you take a chance on him getting hurt in a game that, you're going to, if you don't beat them by whatever, there's something wrong. So that's the chance you take. But Shane, to your point you made earlier, it's one thing to scrimmage against, your own people. He's got to go out there in live action. If you're going to do it against a team that, at least on paper, seems to be overmatched. I'd get him a few reps and get him out.
Yeah, I don't really know if he will or not, and I have no inside information. I don't know. They may be waiting till South Florida. We'll see. Gator Arts question on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, do we think we will finally go away from the screens? They don't work. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Gator Art, but I'm a big screen guy. not all the time screens are going to work. Again, not every play call works, but what screens do is they get the defensive line, the big guys, running, and you tire them out that way. So I hope we continue throwing screens. I'd love to see some screens to the backs as well. Large Fry says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, Steve Russell is the Dave Ramsey of Gator sports. Calls people out when necessary. I love it.
When necessary. I don't go out of my way to do that, and I don't think you should. But it's going to be interesting too, Shane, now with the money that these athletes are being paid, and all of a sudden they don't do very well. You know, you never wanted to boo a college athlete, but I wonder if that changes down the line here because of all the money that's being made. I'm curious to see if that ever happens.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And you know, if they're booing, you may not know if they're booing the players or the coaches or whatever.
Right.
In today's world,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Andy's question for you, Steve, on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, is, Steve, what will you be doing on game day this year?
We're not doing a pregame this year for the first time in 28 years. In all candor, I'm not real happy about that because I think our radio station, being the flagship station of the Gator Network, should be doing that on a local basis, but we're not. But I will be doing the post-game show again. And, you know, some have questioned the wisdom of that, but, you know, I've always enjoyed that. There have been moments I haven't, but look, I created that show and I knew what it was going to be. And, you know, I've gone through the good with Coach Spurrier, the not so good with Zucker, the real good with Urban, the not so good with Will and McElwain. So, I mean, it ebbs and flows, but the whole idea of that show is to gauge at least what part of Gator Nation is thinking concerning Gator football. And I think it's a great outlet for fans. You don't want it to go over the line, but that's what that's for. I'm looking forward to doing that.
Gallo Car Wash is locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on Northwest 13th Street, Williston Road, and coming soon to Jonesville. Go check them out at Gallo Car Wash. We got Steve Russell here on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Steve will be back in action live on WRUF today and every day during the week from 12 to 2. We got a text here on the Titan Tomorrow text line for you, Steve. I'm not sure who this is from. They say, ask Steve what his crystal ball says as a realistic win total this year, and does he think we make the playoffs if we win 9 games?
You got to win the right. I think 9 games is what I think Florida's going to win. It's got to be the right 9 games. I think, Shane, I want to see if you agree with this. What is the committee going to do in terms of where it puts weight? If you go 9-3 and you beat Texas, but you lose to Ole Miss, right? What has more weight? I think beating a team like Texas, to me, should have more weight than losing to what should be a good team in Ole Miss. So I think part of the making the playoff is winning the right 9 games. And you can't lose against Mississippi State or, you know, somebody like that, which is just a bad loss. But, you know, there's not many games. South Florida, I think Florida will win, but I think they're a much improved football team from a couple of years ago. We'll see. So, yeah, I think 9 wins can get them to the playoff, but it has to be the right 9. And I think they do win 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with that because you can't lose to a Kentucky or somebody like that. You know, if you do lose, it needs to be to teams that are also in the playoff talk as well, in my opinion. Steve, let me ask you this. I don't know if last time you were on, we talked about, you know, everybody talks about that 4-game stretch that we have LSU, Miami, Texas, and then Texas A&M. Don't you think we have to, worst case scenario, go 2-2 in that situation?
Yes. Because if you lose 3 there of the 4, your margin of error is gone. You got to beat everybody else. And believe it or not, I get the hype with Arch Manning and the coach there has done a great job with that team. They lost a lot but they've got great talent coming back. But that's a game, Shane. I know you had a chance to go to Texas and, for the first time and see that place. That game's being circled already here, with Manning coming to town and Texas coming here. That's a big game to win. But the game on the calendar to me is Miami. You just hate to have to lose to them in back-to-back years. And I get it. They've got a pretty good quarterback there. But that's a team I think you've got to beat, even though it's on the road. If you want to get to the playoff, that's the kind of game you have to win. And A&M's going to be no picnic either on the road. So, again, the schedule is what it is. But, yeah, I'm with you. You got to win that game.
I love the schedule. I say embrace it and go have fun and go play it. See, let me ask you this, because I can't tell you how many times this offseason, playing golf or wherever I am, people I'm with, we have to beat Miami. Just like you said, we have to beat Miami. I guess because I didn't grow up a Gator fan and I never played Miami, I want to beat the damn LSU Tigers more because it's a conference game as well. And people are like, well, for in-state recruiting. I was like, in today's world, nobody worries about in-state recruiting because it's all going to who pays the most money for you to come play. Am I crazy to think the way I'm thinking, or is it just because I didn't grow up hating the Miami Hurricanes?
A little of both, but you're not crazy in what you think. Recruiting is not the same, Shane. You're spot on with that. In the old days, beat Miami, beat FSU because of recruiting. It's really important, and it was. I'm not saying it wasn't, but now it's about. I mean, look. Could there be a kid or two that sort of makes that decision because they want to stay in state and, they want to go to the best place for them? Sure. But that's fading away. It's about the money. And I get your point, but I did, grow up here in college and, playing Miami every year. And, some of those rivalry games when Miami was really, really good. The Gators don't like to lose. The old Gator fans don't like to lose to Miami. So I think that's why a lot of people think that. But because of where they're ranked and who they are, it is an important game. But again, you don't want to lose to an in-state rival, and that's a game that's been circled by a lot of Gator fans for sure.
Barone 71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says we need to beat Miami. It's been 40 years since Florida won in Miami. Wow, I didn't realize that. I
didn't either. But yeah, again, I'm sure probably an older fan who understands that, but that's beating an in-state. Look, do you want to lose to Florida State? Same thing, right? But Miami is ranked. They should be good. It's a team you got to beat. And I don't know, Shane. I think you make an interesting point. If you asked a younger Gator fan, who would you rather beat, Miami or LSU? I think LSU would win hands down. I really do.
Yeah. I guess I look at it from a conference standpoint as well.
That's one of the reasons why.
Yeah. Barone 71 also says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, is there a way for a, quote, roundup program in Gainesville for NIL? Example, your bill is $10.24 at McDonald's. They ask you if you'd like to round up to $11 for the NIL donation, kind of like at Firehouse Subs. I mean, they just have to put that together, but that definitely happens in Oxford, Mississippi. They've been doing it for about a year and a half now at all the restaurants in Oxford. They round up for their NIL program. But I have not heard anything like that going on in Gainesville. Have you, Steve?
No, I haven't either, but it's an interesting concept. And, it amazes me. I was talking to somebody the other day who's involved in this, and it is literally a 24/7 proposition that you just have to keep. First of all, you have to play within the rules. Secondly, you're going up against all these other places with the money that they're raising, and you continually have to try to find funding sources to keep up with the Joneses. He said there's no rest. You just can't rest because you have to keep raking in the money to be competitive. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Last thing before we get out of here, another question or comment that I've had to deal with all summer long is, oh man, if DJ can't play, we have no chance. My response to these people are, look, DJ is an electrifying player. Do we want him as our quarterback? Absolutely. But I tell them, if he cannot go for whatever reason, we're going to still run out of the tunnel with our helmets and chin straps buckled and try to win the damn football game. They have a lot of good talent on this team. They can still win a bunch of games. Can they make the playoffs? I don't know, but we're still going to coach them up and still try to win. Coach, Steve, you were a coach before. Sometimes you had to coach games without your best players. You're still going to try to win the game. I think the fan base needs to understand that.
I do too. And look, we've not seen a quarterback with the hype that Lagway has since Tebow. That's just, in my opinion, a fact. Good, bad, wrong, right. That's where the hype machine is with this kid, and I get it. But to say that Florida can't win without him, I think is wrong, because
I agree.
A point of emphasis in the offseason was to upgrade the backup quarterback position, because we saw what happened with that a year ago. And I think Florida has done that. And here's the other thing, Shane, you know this because you've coached too. Everybody has a different skill set as a quarterback. And people forget the running back room is pretty darn good. And the offensive line is Florida's best in a long time. So you may not be able to throw the ball, the deep ball, maybe the way that Lagway throws it, but there's a lot of weapons there. Quarterback's job is to get the ball to the weapons. That I think good quarterbacks do that. And they got really good running, if they stay healthy, really good running backs, really good receivers. Are you telling me a backup quarterback can't in some way, shape, or form perform that? If not, Florida's in trouble. I'll give you that. But I think their situation at the backup there is better than it was a year ago.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. Obviously, we're just hoping DJ will be 100%. I don't think he'll be 100% the whole year. He'll be well enough to go play, in my opinion. Steve, one more time, let everybody know how they can listen to Sports Scene today. What's the name of the app and all that good stuff?
Yep, we're going to start it out today, and it'll be our normal time, Monday through Friday, noon to 2. We'll tell you when the show starts about where you can get us on YouTube and Facebook and all of that. We're going to have an increased presence that way besides the normal radio part. And let me also give a plug to Inside the Huddle, because a lot of people have enjoyed that in the past. I love it because I get to talk to Shane and Coach. We're going to move the time this year, though. That's going to be on Tuesdays. It'll be part of Sports Scene. So it'll be Tuesdays at noon, and then we'll do 1 hour of Sports Scene after that. And that begins tomorrow. So Shane and Coach will be in the studio tomorrow, and we will kick off Inside the Huddle. And looking forward to all of that. And I appreciate you, my friend. I got to tell you, Shane, proud is the wrong word, but your podcast has really taken off, and it's great. I think people have come to, listen to it, and it's done well for you. So congratulations to you on that. Job well done.
Well, thank you, my man. I'm doing this podcast because of you, what I learned. I never wanted to be the host, but I learned how you did it, and owe you a lot. And welcome back to Sports Scene, and glad to have you back, my man.
Appreciate you. See you tomorrow.
Yep, that's Steve Russell. Okay, join us on the Titan More Highline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Go check them out at peachlanddental.com. Thanks to Steve and JC for joining the program. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.